Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to your weekly dose of newsy infotainment. It's Let's Be Treasonable, coming to you from the luxurious studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles with your cognitive dissidents on the panel this week. Comedian, raconteur, man of letters. Ladies and gentlemen, always glad to have him for the second time in the studio, Lenny Shelton.
Oh, hey. Yeah, great to be here. I never been described as a raconteur before. I didn't know you were talking about me.
Well, we tried. We're selling the sizzle. Not to say that there isn't plenty of steak, but marketing. This is
okay.
what we do.
Yeah, can I add that to my intro now?
I think you should. It's you have raconted on many. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Also joining us, very happy to have her back in the studio. You may know her from the web series Knocking on Doors, or you may know her from her appearances here on this very show. Very happy to have her here, ladies and gentlemen. Jessica Abrams.
Hello.
Also a comedian. Many other things.
Many.
I wanted to make sure I got the web series.
We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's a lot to talk about. Slow news week for a change. And also pleased to have back on the show comedian, juggler, man of many talents, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Coughlin.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, Jim.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And as always, the black voice of reason, Mr. Tymon Shipp.
I'm glad Jessica's laughing. Power to the people. Good to be here. Thank you, Jessica. That was very good.
Sorry, I'll stop.
So, anything important happened this week? As a matter of fact, yes, many things happened. It's funny. We have commented many times on this show how the news cycle is so fucked up under this administration that it used to be Friday was the news dump. You go into the weekend, all the stories that they want to underplay Friday, get it out there. People forget about it over the weekend. With this administration, it's like shit piled on top of shit that by the time you get to Friday, you forget some of the crap that happened on Monday and Tuesday. And this was a big week because moving backwards, we had independent counsel Robert Mueller announcing 13 indictments against Russian troll farms, which I am so opposed to trolls, I'm not even listening to Justin Timberlake or going to see that movie, the troll thing they did. I think it's associated somehow. And going back to the beginning of the week when the president announced his horror show of a budget, which I had totally forgotten about because somewhere in the middle and, kind of lucky for the president, there was a little matter of a school shooting in Florida for a change. And just right now, putting it out there, our hearts go out to the victims of the shooting. And I think, because can we make it political? I think we can. That's what we do here. I saw that, the president delivered his statement, said, well, we're going to fly the flags at half-mast. Well, that's fantastic. And the Republican Party posted a picture of the American flag over the White House, flying at half-mast, and it was captioned, "We're with you, Florida." And I responded, because that's what you do on Twitter, that you should be with them, because this whole thing happened because of the Republican Party's fealty to the NRA and their unwillingness to do anything.
Well, even the teenagers are coming out. I mean, the teenagers at the high schools are speaking out. They said, "You guys knew about this. This is your fault that our politicians didn't stop this guy. How does a 19-year-old get a AR-15? What do you need one for? How does a kid, and he's already been, the FBI checked him out. Everybody's checked him out, and his parents said, well, we told him to put it away, and he was able, but he had the key. Oh, there you go. Even though you told me to put it away, I have the key to my own, so I can go.
Boy, is he in trouble when he gets home.
Yeah.
I think this shooting has the most potential to change things, because you had Columbine, which was pre-social media.
Right.
Then you had, of the big hits of school shootings,
Right.
Newtown. A lot of people were like, if you can get away with shooting 26,
I mean, Sandy Hook, yeah.
Sandy Hook,
Yeah.
young children, if you can get away with that, then we're never going to change. But those kids didn't have phones on them, and they're not, they're still very young. So
Right.
they're not out there telling the president to go F himself.
Right.
Now you have,
Although it'd be really cute if they did.
but now you have people's screenshots of their texts to their parents,
Yes.
where it's like, every
the kid
single
re-
one of them makes me cry. It starts as soon as I start reading it.
Right.
It's like, I love you. People saying goodbye, potentially.
Yeah. Well, they were screening they actually were filming the shooting.
Absolutely.
And you could hear the gun. I mean, that thing that this kid's firing, it was like you're in a war zone.
Yeah.
This is class. You're in high school.
Yes,
and you
not
gotta
supposed to happen.
Yeah, this is not supposed to happen. This is where we're going. And I said, well, how do we do it? We created it, but I have to say, Dave.
I have to interrupt quickly. No, this isn't where we're going. This is where we are.
Yeah. Well,
This is, it'd be great if this was where we're going, because then we might actually, have the wherewithal to stop it.
well, no, but we created it, though.
Oh, absolutely.
We created every last one of them, and our society is that's one thing that you need to look within. We created every last one of these psychopaths, young, old, whichever one you do. They're all pissed off because I didn't get to go first. They're either bullied, they're mistreated, and it's just straight mental illness. We have I don't think people talk about the mental illness of our society. Don't look at the homeless person always. Look at the guy who drives to work every day. Look at the guy or the woman that drives to work every day, or whatever. She could be the mother, and she could be mentally ill, and you don't know she's mentally ill till something hits her that day, and she snaps. Like the guy who got into a car accident on the freeway, snatches the woman's dog, and throws it out into the freeway.
Yeah.
That's mental illness. That dude snapped that day. We didn't know he was going to snap, or he could have just pulled out a gun and start shooting, which we've had that.
Well, but I don't. There was an article in Slate. I don't know if it's mental illness. It's we have an anger issue. People are not able to express emotion. We have such a culture of put your head down, go to work, get on the the hamster wheel, keep going, and then one day somebody snaps. There's no outlet, and these kids are feeling it because those are their parents. Their parents. We are all beholden to the system to such a degree that we cannot stop, and the kids are feeling it, and they're angry.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of this violence comes from, and the need for video games and all that stuff.
Well, all right, but wait, here, real quick, because I think it was the senator from Kentucky, a Republican, of course, who, after the shooting in Florida, blamed video games for the shooting. I think everyone in this room, I don't think anyone would disagree. I'm not necessarily the picture of prime mental health. I'm not dangerous, though. And the thing with video games, because have y'all ever played anything from the Grand Theft Auto series, GTA 3? It's awesome. And of course, it's part of the game, so there is potential to create mass carnage and violence in the game, whether it's with firearms, flamethrowers, running over people in the cars that you steal, whatever. And I love playing that game. The reason is because all the stuff that you can do in the game to get your anger out, you can't do that in real life. I can't run over people.
You can.
I can. It's not a good idea. There are repercussions. Yeah. So video games that feature violence, it's not a fault, it's a feature, are a great way to alleviate the stress, to do the stuff that you can't do or shouldn't do, as Tymon pointed out, in real life.
But that doesn't work for everybody.
Well,
I
know that,
disagree,
but
and
I think part of that
Yeah.
is the lack of parenting.
But I don't know about that. I mean, I think there are a lot of other ways to alleviate stress, and that nobody knows how. We have not really taught people. The truth is, you're right. Video games. I mean, you can't blame video games, and a lot of people are able to, like yourself, differentiate. But it's a culture of violence. That's the thing. It's a culture of violence, and so when you add video games into it, and yes, maybe that's where parenting comes in. But I also think it's how to alleviate the anger or not have. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't.
Well, you have to look at that. The game is still. I mean, the game of life is constantly changing for us. It's constantly, nothing is the same. Every time you turn around, there's something different. Something that's come out. We have a new distraction. Cell phones are a distraction. People got to have all the little shiny things, and we have a bullying problem within our community, whether it's adult bullying or kids at high school getting bullied. We have also, that goes along with this, a high suicide rate among our young kids. So it's not just a kid shooting people.
No, but it's all the same problem.
Right. But also that builds, that's why I'm saying mental illness comes in, because we have people with so many different mental issues that, like you said, there's no place to talk about it.
Right, but I don't know that that's mental illness. I think that society at large is ill.
But there you go, though.
There's an illness and a sickness in society.
Well, fortunately for us, Jim, if you don't mind, because I see you got the computer out, do a Google search. I was going to say, next to the NRA, my guess would be that the pharmaceutical industry is probably the next largest donor to our politicians in Congress. And you're talking about, that we have anger issues and no way of solving them. They have come up with ways that are government approved, and thanks to that, now we have an opioid epidemic.
Well, look, I mean, I work at juvenile hall. Okay, so I'm dealing with a juvenile criminal every day. Parents say, "Oh no, my son wouldn't shoot," or "My son didn't have a gun." Yes, he did have a gun. Okay, I'm sorry, he got shot. Because he did have a gun. Because most of the kids at juvenile hall have guns, and they tell me, "Sure, I have a Glock or I have a .370," and they are bipolar. They are schizophrenic, but yet they're gang members. And yes, it is. That's why I call it mental illness. I call it mental illness because we are dealing with all this stuff that is being built up, and no one's dealing with it. And you can't give it a pill.
I agree with you, and you obviously are more on the front lines than I am, but I always like to go back to sort of a larger picture, which is that society at large is ill. We have an illness.
Right.
This is, the illness is we are...
human.
It's true. We are. I would also argue we are disconnected from each other.
Right.
We are disconnected from. It's a spiritual ill.
Right.
I mean, we are disconnected from the sense that we are all one.
Right.
And that there is a larger power that is that really is in. I don't want to say in charge, because I don't. That absolves us of responsibility. But you know what I mean. Like, we are disconnected from each other, and the sense that we are one.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You created.
It's a societal ill.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said that this was created. We created every person that there is, from consumerism. Look at the way we, as far as telling us to buy all kinds of things, that you need this to make you better. We have body shaming. We have all these different.
I body sham in the morning.
I get me. I do
too. That's why I was late. I was shamming myself.
Shamming.
I bought the body sham wow, which just it doesn't make the body shamming any quicker, but it does make it so much more exciting.
Did I just step on a duck? I did. I stepped on a duck.
I want that.
While we've stopped Tymon from talking, I'd
so
like to throw in some counter arguments.
Yes.
So video games, I'm not sure that they're healthy to, I shot a bunch of people in a video game. Ooh,
right.
Boy, I got that out of my system.
Right.
What
a productive use of my time.
But video games, to the best of my knowledge, are sold all over the world.
True.
Particularly in Asia, in Japan, Korea. And I don't think they're playing different games. I think Grand Theft
You're right.
Auto is probably... So for some reason, they play it and then they don't shoot up a school.
Right.
Now,
Good point.
So that's my first thing. Also, same with movies.
Good point.
James
And,
Bond,
and
whatever.
they have mentally ill people all around the
Yes.
world.
Now, we also... the murder rate in the United States is actually pretty low for the United States. So I looked these numbers up. In 1950,